Ladies and gentlemen, we're going live. Hey, everybody. My name is Morel. Welcome to the Man Cave where we keep the party going. Today, I want to talk about one of the most needed conversations of all time. And it's called, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, irreconcilable differences in divorce. Too many divorces are put under this term. And what exactly does that mean? There are other terms that can be used in divorce, but are never used. For example, adultery. I forget the exact term. We'll get to in a second with the video. I mean, with the clips. But beating your woman, financially abusing your woman. There are other terms that can be used in divorce, but for some reason, irreconcilable differences is the one that everybody goes to. And here it is. I have a plan to stop majority divorces. Are you ready for it? Here we go. You choose a scenario. Man and woman are dating for, let's say, hypothetically 2 years, and she's passing all of his tests to be a wife. She's passing all of his tests to be a husband. Congratulations. He says, you know what? I'm going to go to the store, buy this ring for whatever amount of money. I'm not talking about the money part of it. And says, I want to marry her. His job is to get down on one knee and say, will you be my wife? And then she says yes. And it's like, okay, here we go. Now, here comes the plan of the wedding, depending on how their finances are looking. Big wedding, let's say 500 people, let's say 100 people, 50 people, 20 people, or justice of the peace is irrelevant. This next part of how much it costs, that's irrelevant. The point is, this is saying this scenario that there was 100 people at the wedding, 20 people at the wedding, 10 people, 5 people, whatever. This is used between 5, 20, 50, or 100, whatever the number is for the wedding of your wedding party. Just pick a number out top of your head, which one you want to use. Now, the wedding happens. The man says yes in front of the pastor, preacher, and priest, and she says yes too. Now they're married for, let's say, 5 years, 2 years. It's irrelevant how long they've been married for. And I'm statistically proved that women file for divorce way more than men. She says, I want to get a divorce. And the man is like, okay, for what? And she says, irreconcilable differences. He's like, what does that mean? She says, I just want out. It's like, but what does that mean? It's like, I just want out. My solution to this problem is if you had 50, 100, 20, or even 10 people at the wedding, those same people need to go to the divorce and sit in the crowd. And I want this woman and man to sit down in front of a judge and lawyers and describe what happened in their marriage. I can almost guarantee you that a lot of marriages will never end in divorce if this were to ever happen. Let's think about it. When you're at the wedding, everything is positive. People in the crowd, they're crying, they're emotional. Oh my God, Rebecca, Janet, Susan, Kim is finally getting married. Thank goodness. And vice versa. Mark, Anthony, Randy, Joseph, whatever his name is, you're my man. You are off the market now. You're not for the streets anymore. Cool. They both get married. So there's either 50, 100, 20, or 10 people got to see this magical wedding. More than likely, they had a reception afterwards and they had a good time. Now, life really happens after the marriage. And it's to the point that she's like, you know what? For whatever reason, but there be kids involved, but it's almost irrelevant. They're married. And statistically proven, which I'll say in a second, she says, I want a divorce for irreconcilable differences. And he's like, what? So now my plan is to bring those 100, 50, 20, 10 people to the divorce proceedings. I want to see her and him explain to the whole crew of people who's at the wedding why they're getting divorced. And I guarantee you, with the shame alone, knowing that all these people are at the divorce proceedings, the divorce will never go through. This is say this is for the judge, and the judge is like, all right, Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Thompson, why are you guys getting divorced? And she's going to say, or he's going to say, irreconcilable differences. Now, everybody's in the back. You got this 150, 20, 10 people, however many people saw you get married or watching you get divorced, and they eating popcorn in the back. They're like, oh, snap. What's she going to say? What's he going to say? And she says, you know what? I'm just not happy. He doesn't emotionally stimulate me anymore. He financially isn't where I want him to be. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's irreconcilable differences. He didn't beat on her. He didn't financially destroy her, whatever that may have been. I'm gonna even use another one. Let's just say hypothetically, he did cheat on her. Hypothetically, there's a term in the divorce proceedings. I'm gonna show you in a later slide. It's actually called adultery. But guess what? The most commonly thing done in divorce is irreconcilable differences. It's not adultery. It's about, oh my God, girl, he must have cheated on you. That's why you divorced him. No. Mm-mm. She just wasn't happy. Nah, girl, he must have beat you, right? No. He must have not been there for the kids. Well, he's probably at work. He might have missed a dance recital. He might have missed football practice. He might have missed something of that nature. But somebody got to pay the bills. Yeah, girl, he was never around. He was working. So, this is picture that thought right fast. You're in the courtroom, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, and you're going to the judge. You have two lawyers, and you have 150 people, 20 people, or 10 people who came to the wedding and was like, oh my God, congratulations, girl. Congratulations, my man. Good job. Wearing the wedding rings. They dance to the sunset. They go on the honeymoon, the whole 9 yards. And now she says, you know what? I'm not happy. And with me not being happy, I'm going to put down the claim of irreconcilable differences. Now everybody in the audience is like, wait a minute. I went to your wedding and everything was happy. But now that you're going through quote unquote hard times, you want to bow out. The audience is going to be like, I thought you said for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health. Ain't something about happiness. One thing that I want you guys to understand about this is when a divorce happens, there's a couple of things that you can get from a divorce from the male side or the female side. It can be money. It can be assets. It can be child support. It can be spousal support. But one thing you're never going to get back after a marriage is over with is love. I've never seen in a divorce proceeding somebody say, hey, Your Honor, can I get my love back? Let that sink in for a second. I'm going to say it again. Your Honor, I want alimony, child support, some money, some 401k, potentially over half of his bank account, maybe a car, an asset. I want half of the house. All that's legit. No home, no file. I've never seen a woman or a man who's ever filed for divorce be like, Your Honor, can I have my love back? That's the main reason for getting married, right? Everybody says, I am marrying for love. In my opinion, now that I'm older and actually understand a couple of things a little bit more, I say marry for duty. Now, what is duty? That's a discussion for a later on video, but that's my small monologue right fast. Let's go into some actual statistics from my favorite invention called Google. I love Google. It gives me all the answers. Now, legal reasons for divorce into two main categories are no fault, like irreconcilable differences or separation, and fault-based like adultery, abandonment, cruelty, substance abuse, or that word I can't pronounce, but hey, I have a high school education and never went to college, so be it. With specific grounds varying by state, but no fault is common. There's other categories you can file for divorce on, but for some reason, a no fault divorce is common. No fault divorce, most common is irreconcilable differences, irretrievable breakdown. The marriage has been broken down beyond repair. But didn't you say sickness or health, good, bad, all those other words? Separation, living apart for a specific time. Example, 6 months or a year. Let's look at some of the other categories. And remember, this thing says legal reasons for divorce, not what your homegirls say, not what your other person say. This is legally what you can put on the divorce for while you're filing. For some reason, irreconcilable differences is the one that everybody goes to, but there's other reasons you can put down there. We got adultery. He's a cheater. Oh my God, girl, he must have cheated. Adultery isn't the most common thing that's filed for divorce. Girl, he left you. He ran up with some other girl. Abandonment, desertion isn't a common one that's used on the divorce filings. Cruelty, abuse. Girl, he must have been beating your ass. That's not a reason they be putting on these divorce papers. Substance abuse. Girl, he must have been a alcoholic and drug addiction and so forth, so on. That's not a reason they put on there. Bigamy. Being married to more than one person. Okay, I figured out the word and I had to figure out in my head how you pronounce these words. Maybe I'm still pronouncing it wrong, but it looks like it says big of me or big of my, big of me. I don't know. I can't pronounce it, but so be it. Fraud. Misrepresentation to enter the marriage for immigration. Now that's not even a big one. Long story short, I'm just here to prove that irreconcilable differences makes no sense. It makes no sense. Let's go into some more reasons. Now, legal reasons for a divorce that's most common. The most common legal reasons for divorce center around irreconcilable difference, which I just explained. I just explained that. So I'm going to go backwards to go forward. Gotta love Google. I just wrote down simple thing, legal reasons for divorce. And it gave me no fault divorce and fault based, and we just went through what that is. Most common is no fault, not an actual even fault. So let's go forward. Now I want to see what is the most common reason for divorce. Irreconcilable differences. Truly amazing. Let me sit back and really think about it. Now, my next slide is the percentage of divorce initiated by. I didn't put nothing crazy. You can see what I put in here. Percentage of divorce initiated by. And congratulations, it's women. Women initiate the majority of divorces. The study shows what women initiate the majority of divorces. What studies consistently showing they fall around 69 to 70% of the time in heterosexual marriages. Also, let me read the whole thing right fast. Marriages, a 10 linked to factors like unmet emotional needs. I don't remember that being the vows about emotional needs. Unequal burdens, domestic/child care, and domestic for independence through men often cite infidelity or life changes when filing. For college-educated couples, this figure for women initiating can even rise up to 90%. Women are the most educated. Women are the most, whatever the word is Googleable. I'm not just making this stuff up. 90% of college-educated couples file for divorce. So you're going to school as a woman who initiates 69 to 7% of all divorces to get an education to find out that the man that you're with is either equally yoked or not equally yoked, and you're going to get a divorce because you think you're better than him. I'm never going to use that word. I'm going to use what's in here in the Google. Unmet emotional needs. Because I went to college and I'm educated, he didn't meet my emotional needs. It's right here. 90% of educated women can file up to 90%. This is a small number. So if the normal woman is between 69 and 70%, the college educated woman could be up to 90%. She's just go in the middle. I'm gonna use the word 8, the number 80. 80% of women who are filing for a divorce, and we wonder why the marriage rate is dropping. In most cases, the man is usually the provider. The more women date up financially, so more likely the man's part of the breadwinner. More than likely, if I line up 100 couples, I'm not saying all. I know a person. I ain't talking about that. If I line up 100 married couples, the majority of the married couples, the man makes more money than the woman. I'm talking about the in general statement, not those one-offs of I know a person. I don't give a damn what you know about. What is the in general statement? And just to make it real clear, let's talk about in general. And the world works in generalities. Let me explain to you. That's why we have right hand mouses. That's why we don't have braille on every building, because everybody isn't blind. The majority of people are right-handed. That's why we have right hand mouses. For the gun, the majority right hand. Why? Because people are more right-handed. Generalities is how the world works. I think I got one more for you guys. Let's go with vows to the wedding. Let's go right here. I name, take you, name to be my wife or husband, to have, to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love, to cherish, to death do us part. If that's the words that a traditional religious common examples of a vow is, what do they say emotions in that? I'm gonna even give you ladies an out on this one. What does it say cheating on your spouse in that? What does it say that? It says for richer, for poorer. Matter of fact, let's go back. From this day forward, meaning the wedding day today, going forward, for better. We had a great wedding, everybody. We had 150, 20, 10 people here. For worse, man, about to go through a divorce. Have those same people in the background watch your divorce. For richer, oh my God, we're rich. We're poor. Hey, I lost my job. And sickness, and in health, man, I'm pretty good right now. To love and to cherish, to death do us part. Divorce, according to these vows that both people took, shouldn't even be an option. But it's an option. And the option out is irreconcilable differences. Most common legal reasons, irreconcilable differences. There's all these other categories. There's adultery, there's domestic abuse, there's substance abuse, there's abandonment. But for some reason, the most common one is irreconcilable differences. I came up with a problem, which is irreconcilable differences as a wedding, as an excuse for a divorce. I don't want to just be out here to say this is a problem. I'm going to give you a solution. My solution is I want to see all those people who went to the wedding to be at the divorce and sit in the background and want the woman who mostly initiates the divorce, which is seen in the numbers, to explain to everybody who came to their wedding why they're getting divorced. Why they couldn't do the vows that they said in front of everybody, for richer, for poor, for better, for worse, all these words. But for some reason, my emotions got involved, and I'm a file for irreconcilable differences. Like, comment, subscribe, but mostly important, share this video to your kids, to the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-olds. I don't care who watches this video. My solution is everybody who came to the wedding goes to the divorce. I guarantee you, with shame is involved, divorce will go down tremendously. Thank you for your time. And as always, keep the party going.